So it is, little ones, we talk to you, yes? This could be a very serious moment for the heart, the mind, the body, the spirit, yes? And it's nothing wrong with being serious, but when one is too serious, there becomes a little furrow in the brow, the mouth may turn down, the activity of the body may slow down, the ability of your soul to connect with you may be impeded, and so therefore it is much wiser to keep remembering to curve the corners of your mouth up, to take good, nice, deep breaths, and know that the activity that is happening on the planet is in a type of divine right order in order for this ascension to be on schedule. And because there are many slowed down individuals on the planet of Earth at this point in time, and that their ability to perceive truth has been overshadowed by the way they have learned or what they have been taught, and their attitudes that have come together because of all that. And so it takes more to unwind a situation and get going on a straight path forward than it does to start from scratch or start from the beginning. So there's an unwinding process that is happening, and a way in which the little ones have to come to the awareness of their own process, the way they think, and how their feelings and their thoughts are the manifestation of their history and what they hold on to, and where it is that that will take a little one, because they are pursuing a path that is old. There is nothing new about a path that was created last week or 10 years ago. There's no way in which the path can open. It is part of the history of this particular planet to have many different upheavals, whether it's planetary and physical, or it's astral and not so physical. There are many ways in which the little ones are having to reintroduce themselves to how much power they have over what it is they are feeling. All right, so they have power over what they're feeling. They do not usually have complete power over an experience in the outer world, outer than their body, outer than their psyche, but they have had many different contact places in their life cycles where it is there were changes and chances to change that were not recognized. So here it is, everything is slowed down for a period of time so that little ones can recognize how they are participating on the plane with what is coming forward, or what is happening, or what seems to be projected into your reality. So the rest of what happens in this particular situation, we talk about presidential running in the United States, has to do with how each and every one is committed to truth in their heart, not to their ego and not to getting their own way, because getting their own way usually is connected to historic events and how it is that one has positioned themselves in charge or in control, so they think, of what is happening. And of course, that human control is very weak. The power of the human in comparison to the power of spirit is practically non-existent. It can only make ripples, and those ripples are oftentimes distractions is one word, but they can be repetitive, and they can be continually creating a sense of going nowhere, doing nothing, being stuck. And there's anything that is not to be recognized in this world, where it is that your physical body is created and where it is you're moving forward, is stuckness. To be stuck in a car, or to be stuck in a body, or to be stuck in an idea, or to be stuck in anything, is part of how it is that one slows down their own progress, their own ability to perceive absolute and absolute truth. So these are times where it is one taking responsibility for themselves is going to learn a lot. There's going to be a lot of learning for the ones that are taking responsibility for their actions, their activities, their attitudes. All right, so attitude is key here. And when one is giving permission to themselves to discover what the path has been in the history why it is things have gone in a direction in one's own life, and what it is that is recreating in the life, because that's what lives are about. There's a lot about recreating the same old situation. People will marry and carry on a relationship in their marriage as was the marriage of their parents, because it's a model, and that modeling is given to the human in a way in which it has become a lot like clay that's gone into a kiln. It's gotten through the heat and the fire and the activities that keep ensuing. The clay gets hard and brittle, right? Nothing beautiful about it, nothing truly enduring about it, because if you pick up a pot of clay that has been fired, it can drop and it can break and can shatter and it can move back into a non-existent creation. So as one is losing their old way of being, walking away from it, that's a nice way to say it for right now. To walk away from your old ideas, your old habits, the old perceptions that you have had is very, very useful. To walk away from possessions that you have that you are not using at the particular moment is a good practice. To walk away from situations with people, relatives, etc., that have done nothing but cause problem is useful, but it isn't going to solve the problems, right? It can be useful to walk away because you want to relief and you want to have a relaxed situation, or because there's no way to handle or understand how to handle what is happening. So this is part of what's going on now, is that all the old patterns and all the old activities are getting a chance to resurface. And when they do resurface, if one is paying attention, it can be a time of very much clearing and very much letting go, and a great ability for love and compassion to exude and to bubble up through the understanding, the new understanding, which is one word, but acceptance. One doesn't have to understand exactly how it happened or why it happened, but you accept it is the way it is because it is the way it is. And that's a very advanced approach to life itself. To accept what is as is because it is, and that's where it is. You have an isness, so to speak. You have that part of yourself that is present no matter what. It was present before you were born. It's going to be present while you sleep. It's present after you leave the body, and it's present. It's just plain presence. Not necessarily can the human explain it or use it into their own benefit, so to speak. So these things are timely right now. And so what is happening is that the love in the heart, it isn't as though one needs to go around loving everything and, smoothing everything out, but the acceptance is a good step in the direction of compassionate heart. Right? So compassionate hearts are always able to stop what is happening in the moment, in the vibration, with one breath. Right? So that's the purpose of one breath, one deep breath down into the lungs, and then activating all those different chords and all those different vibrations that are connected to the heart. And that alleviates the stress or the compression that is happening and the density that may be felt. And the auric field, because of the toroidal field, is going to receive a different vibration. So it's really part of how the evolution of the human is going on now. Doesn't matter what the what the problem has appeared to be. It is a problem for the person in the moment because they just don't understand it, or because they don't have an acceptance of it, or because they want it to be gone, so to speak. That's what makes it into the problem, yes? So you can move very gently and very swiftly with one breath when you remember that it's like you are not in charge, that you are here as part of a lila, a divine lila, and that you are able to move your body across the planet with walking, and you're allowed to use your body in any way, shape, or form as far as spirit is concerned. And with your heart, you can, with one breath, move the dynamic aspect of self into a greater state of, number one, awareness, but number two, a greater state of action, right? So awareness and action, those are two parts of being on the planet, right? So it's not necessarily that one has to go into action, but for most situations, there are those spontaneous activities or involvements, that's a better word perhaps, that need to be allowed to proceed in order for the activity and the light to move in any direction at all, but to move in the direction that you want to direct it with your heart. And so when you breathe into your lungs and you know that you're giving oxygen to your lungs to give to your heart, and to accelerate the activity, the action of the divine in you, so that you can be connected, so that you can feel your, this needs a good word here, that your involvement with life itself, every breath is your involvement with life. Perhaps one little molecule or 10,000 were in somebody else's lungs 5 minutes ago. Does it matter? No. Could it make somebody very concerned if they bothered to think about it? But it's not part of the action of being on the planet to worry about who it is that breathed the breath. Because if we give you experience and says that, well, Jesus at one point had these molecules or had these particles in his physicality as well, then people would be delighted. But when you think about anyone around the city or in the next block breathing in the same air you're breathing in, there gets to be a little different judgment call, because each one really does want to have the highest vibration or happiness. I would call it happiness, but happiness and high vibration are the same thing for this conversation that we're happening here. So know that you are given the opportunity to breathe. Right? You can try and stop it, but you could fall over and bump your head and then start breathing again. And there are so many different ways to be in this world that the choice to be in the world consciously is the most blessed event that you can give to yourself. Now, as far as how much consciousness you have, you're not in charge of that. It's how much allowing you're doing to perceive a reality beyond the physical world that is connected, which is where meditation, of course, comes in, and that's where the reintroduction of oneself into that existence of being in the ethers, or being a part and parcel of everything there is. That's where all that energy really pays off. It's a way in which the human gets to remember that they have power and that they can use it in certain ways. And the more times that they take charge of their life and decide that they're going to be in a state of awareness and consciousness that is beneficial to self and others, then it is the doors are all open, right? So that's really a wonderful way to think about it, that you open the doors with every breath. And if you're unconsciously breathing, well, the doors may come back and slam you in the back as you walk through the doorway. So you want to be conscious of every breath you take, and know that you are sharing on this planet with every other sentient being. Yes?